the the dangers of obesity are exponential when you talk about obesity in children. Because what we're seeing here is that, as the child is growing, prepubescent is kind of what I took from it. They can actually multiply their fat cells. So they're building a very, very, very difficult foundation to navigate in their adulthood.
Exactly.
So they can now be way or far more susceptible to obesity and morbid obesity, and thereby far more susceptible to many life-threatening diseases.
And this one says there are two forms of obesity. The first and most common is hypertrophic obesity. And that is what you most likely hear about on every fitness channel. That's all. They don't even go into the two different types. They'll go into the different types, and there's obesity and morbid obesity, but I myself have never heard them even mention hypertrophic obesity or hypercellular. So hypertrophic, in which the lipid inclusions in the adipocytes are fat cells, accumulate excess fatty acids and increase in size. So basically, the fat cells you already have increase in size. Adipocytes may grow to as much as 4 times their normal size in cases of severe obesity. However, the number of adipocytes remains the same. And the other form is hypercellular obesity, in which the actual number of adipocytes increases. Hypercellular obesity, which is generally severe, correlates with the development of obesity in infancy or early childhood. So we're not talking about teenagers. We're talking about toddlers, infants. Yes, probably by the age of 10, you're not going to see many cases of hypercellular obesity. At that point, it goes more into the hypertrophic side. So it says infancy or early childhood. This is because the adipocytes of infants and young children can increase in number, whereas those of adults lack the ability to divide and form into new cells. Both forms of obesity increase the risk of certain health problems. However, they seem to be associated with the development of different disorders. Furthermore, the development of disorders associated with obesity is complex and depends on the distribution of adipose tissue and on genetic factors. And then it goes on to say, for a deeper discussion of this topic, go to the metabolism chapter. And that's the chapter I studied for a very long time. And I wanted to find out at what point, what is the point that dictates when your fat cells can no longer divide. And I'm wondering if it has something to do with when you stop growing taller, for instance. Doesn't matter if is it puberty related. I was trying to find that out,
right,
but to no avail. Was able to find that out. So, just a second here.
I think regardless, Chris, whatever that piece of data is, to me, for just myself, it doesn't matter. I think what this is actually telling me, and was telling us this week as we were reading over this information, is that the dangers of obesity are exponential when you talk about obesity in children. Because what we're seeing here is that, as the child is growing, prepubescent is kind of what I took from it. They can actually multiply their fat cells. So they're building a very, very, very difficult foundation to navigate in their adulthood.
Exactly.
So they can now be way or far more susceptible to obesity and morbid obesity, and thereby far more susceptible to many life-threatening diseases. This is exceptional And I don't know if anybody else on this stream, whether you're watching it live or on playback, has heard about this stuff. I can tell you, I personally hadn't. So when I was reading it, I was pretty shocked to hear that. And also at the same time, I'm a parent. And if there's any parents watching this on playback or here live, you start to really, you take a hard look at your diet, right? At the diet that you're feeding your children. Because it's all fun and games when we're all out here as adults, trying to, lose fat or get jacked in the gym. And, we can all sit here and talk. We're all adults, we make our own decisions, but our children don't make their dietary decisions. We make them for them. So we are truly setting them up for failure, in my opinion, if we decide to throw diet out the window, throw any healthy diet out the window, and feed our children junk, and then allow them to sit in front of a screen, 8, 9, 10 hours a day. It's absurd. It's disgusting. And I think that more people need to understand that this happens from such a young age, and they're set up for failure, guys. I mean, that sucks, because then these people become adults, and they're the ones that are struggling in the gym. They're the ones that are struggling losing weight or trying to maintain a healthy weight. And I hate to say that, that they're not responsible, because I believe everybody is personally responsible and can do something for themselves. But I'm saying a portion of their troubles, they're not responsible for. We are, as the parents who fell short and got so lazy. Anyway, Cris, before I get too heated, I'm gonna let you keep going. It's just ridiculous to me.
No, I agree, man. It is totally, and especially from the very start, it points out that the infancy and young children, that means as you progress, as they get older, they're less and less likely to have those fat cells dividing and producing more fat cells. So it really is from the start, not even from birth, from the mother's diet while the child is in the womb. So it is vital to have your kid, and my kid, whether he's in the house or outside, he's running nonstop. He's hardly ever sitting down. He's just running back and forth all over the place. So, and I love that. And he loves to play he loves to play ball, like throw the ball back and forth. He's only going to be 3 in May, so he's not really good at catching it yet. But he loves to like if I toss the ball, he wants to run and go get it. It's kind of like playing fetch, but I'm trying to teach him to throw it back, and we're working on that. But the point is, they need to be active. And not only do they need to be active, they need to be fed healthy foods. Yes, you can let them have treats, but treats don't need to be their only diet.
100%.
And it's very interesting as, genetics ultimately, here this whole time, even myself, I thought, your fat distribution is genetic. But here I come to find out, this A&P book, it was based in 2020, back before science was bastardized by the wokes. So It's actually modern research of actual, and I've got, I think, 5 or 6 more of it. But before I get into that, I just wanted to share this video with you guys. It's like 3 minutes long.
Okay.
The video is also linked down in the description, and it just describes